The risk management process entails of four fundamental concepts, and they can be further broke down into more details. But here is the four basics. One is frame the risk, assess the risk, respond to risk in case it is needed, in case of an attempt, an attack, or hack, and then continue to monitor on an ongoing basis the risk itself. So these are the four fundamental bases. But before we even get to here, right, there is even more fundamental areas that you need to address within your organization to actually put a risk management program in place. And I've touched based on this before, but today I want to get into a little bit more detail on what you actually need to do. So it's asset management. That's the topic, and specifically physical devices. And what I mean with that. So today I want to talk about a little bit more detail on the devices themselves. So first, inventory every physical device in your network, and any device that have an IP address to start with. And if you want to further break down this, you can say any device that process, store, or transmit any information in your organization. And later on, we see what is mission-based critical information versus other, but this is a starting point. And if you are a mid-size or small organization, you can do this as simple as with a spreadsheet, either an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheet. That should be sufficient. The fact of the matter is you need to start. And if you are a larger organization, you can have a ticketing system, or even better, have that directly create an item on your configuration management database or your CMDB. So how you even start doing this process? So here we'll get into a little bit more detail. You can start simple as having a brainstorming with your team and trying to identify the classes of assets that you should be researching, should be looking for. I'll give you a few examples, and it could start with end user devices, laptops, phones, etc. Then you move to servers, which could be virtual server, physical servers. You can include database, or have a separate class for database. And then cloud platform, don't forget that. All right, even though it's not on your data center, is where information is being transmitted to, information being processed, and so forth. So your SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS would be something that should be on your asset management database as part of devices. Now, the cloud platform, especially SaaS, you will also see that when you inventory for software, but we're not going to double dip on this one, either here on the hardware or on a software list later on as a part of another video series for you. So once you have that, you need to tie this inventory to a few key information, critical information that later on you can recall and be able to assess in case of an incident. In case you have to patch part of a vulnerability management program. So key few information that you need to have on that spreadsheet. That's basically the columns of your spreadsheet. One is the network address. You need to have that. That is your IP address. You should have your hardware address, which is your MAC address. Machine name, data asset owner, very important, and the department of that asset belongs to. Those are critical information. Asset owner, in larger organization, you might have an asset owner. You might have an asset custodian, which is your IT department. You might even have a platform or software owner. So depending on the type of your organization, that spreadsheet can expand in terms of columns. But the thing is, those key pieces of information that you need in case of vulnerability scanning, you identify vulnerabilities, who you need to communicate to, so this can be addressed. That is very important. Or in case of a hack or any type of compromise, you're going to be able to reach out to the key personnel that need to be advised or alerted to the event that happened. So along with these traditional IT devices that we discussed so far, you need to keep in mind, also part of that team brainstorming, the non-traditional IT devices. And here, it could be an attack vector as well. Here we're talking about IoT, Internet of Things. So non-traditional, your HVAC system that is connected, or your smart thermostat in the building that you work with, that are connected part of your network. you need also to be aware of those. Detection. So here is the most important, right? Detection. So how are you going to maintain all of this over time? There are several strategies. I'll point out two here that can get you started. And you can evaluate within the organization what the best strategy is for you. If you're a large organization or a small organization. From a small organization can be simple as looking the IP assignments on your DHCP server. What device got an IP from yesterday to today, from today to tomorrow, or which ones, the frequency will vary within your organization, your resources. But for example, this week, how many new IP addresses we got assigned? Are these new assets? And you need to investigate. Could be as simple as that. Or you can scan your network on a 24/7 basis with scanning tools, or on any periodic basis that you decide within your organization. That one also is a way to do. You scan, identify the IPs that were identified today versus yesterday versus last week, and see what the delta is, and investigate that delta to see if these are new devices. Could be as simple as these two strategies, and you can devise even more and mature over time. But to get you started, that will identify the devices on your network that needs to be inventoried. That is the basis of the basis of your risk program. So with those, we get done with the hardware. And if you can, along this exercise, start documenting the software. If not, we'll talk about this one on the next video.